Today's video, we're going to be doing stuff a little bit different. I'm not giving you advice. I'm simply stating what I have learned over the years. Let's talk about building your adventure bike skills. If you have the means necessary, if you have the means available and necessary, go get your dirt bike, whether it be secondhand or not. And even if you don't have a place to ride, like in the woods, you can still practice. Because what my biggest problem whenever I got onto an adventure bike, hell, even dirt bikes, and I still struggle with this because I only really practice on the weekends. But it's the whole leaning thing, the elbows out. I see so many guys riding with their elbows in a relaxed position. Your elbows out, but whenever you lean, and here is the most important thing that I realized I was doing. I didn't have anybody telling me this. 90% of off-road riding is feeling. You can take all the classes you want, but if you are not in touch, in tune with your bike, your machine, the suspension, tires, everything, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna get the proper lean, right? Dude, I really need my freaking camera set up here. But yeah, you're gonna get the proper lean. So, okay, see, elbow up, and then this one down, right? So it's straight. You're gonna get the proper lean, but what's gonna happen is this is what I do, and I'm saying you're gonna. Okay, this is what I did. I would kind of tense up and not let the bike do this, which this is weird, it's scary, right? No, it needs to do that to a certain point, but I would tense up so much that it could barely go anything. So while I was leaning and I had great form, the bike was still going straight, and I would have to force it to turn, and then it would just be all dumb. By that time, I was off in the daggone woods. So that's something that you have to feel, and I see this all the time, and I want to say it irritates me, but then I got to use my adult brain, and it's just ignorance. It's just simple ignorance, and there's nothing wrong with that shit, dude. Ah, dog it. I gotta go. Oh, well, yeah, I'm gonna go fix that before it freaking vibrates out. People constantly blame their tires for whatever they're feeling, which is good. They're actually feeling something, but they don't know. And I didn't either. I have grown to this, and that's why I'm hoping that this will help you or somebody else. But in feeling your bike, you gotta realize, is it your tires? No, I guarantee you, because suspension is not cheap, and 90% of people do not mess with their suspension. So tires gets the blame a lot for suspension related issues. Look at people like Ryan Fortnine in his latest video with that BMW. He had street tires. It's the tires. Tires is one thing. Your suspension is everything when it comes to compliance. A lot of people hate sand because their bike isn't set up the right way. I'm lazy, don't feel like taking my helmet off. What I'm getting at is tires get the brunt of the complaints when it comes to non-compliance on certain riding surfaces, but it's not necessarily the tire's fault. Yes, some tires have different qualities and they're designed for something different, and you have to experiment and you have to research your tires, which is why tires is such a sticky subject. People don't really research. Oh, what's the best? Okay, best for freaking what? Anyways, suspension is 90% of what people are blaming tires for. I guarantee you. Nobody wants to pay the money for suspension when, in fact, suspension, whenever you're the newest of riders or even an intermediate rider, suspension should be the first modification. Knowing what I know now, with possibly the exception of a slip-on, because let's face it, Some of these factory mufflers that come on not these bikes, but street bikes, are just ugly as hell, and they just sound disgusting, okay? The price of a slip-on on, say, the Tenere, that's probably about half the price of what I pay for my suspension work. You don't have to go buy Olin suspension, whatever. You don't have to go buy aftermarket suspension. Just get the factory suspension dialed in to how you ride. And especially if you're a new rider, really all you have to do is tell the guy, you know, tell the whoever you're going to have build it, look, I'm new. I don't know these questions, because they're going to ask you a couple of questions that you're probably not going to know the answer to. I'm not giving you advice. I'm simply stating what I have learned over the years. And play with it in the green map. And elbows up. Yeah. Yeah. Go back to white mode. This track is way too small for green map. Okay, and another thing that I learned, and this is probably one of the most valuable lessons that you can learn whenever you get into the ADV world. You have to get over this. I spent $15,000. Oh shit. Steady throttle. I'm leaning too far forward. I spent $15,000 on this motorcycle, or like in my case with the 1290, I spent $20,000 on this motorcycle. I don't want to get it scratched up. Man, get over it. Because if you want to learn how to ride, that bike is going to get some sort of blemish, some sort of damage, especially if you don't start off on a dirt bike or a used bike. Out of the way, you fucking idiot. Where I was going with that is you need to get that out of your head. You don't need to be afraid to fall, because that's what'll hold you back, is you're afraid to mess the bike up, and you're focusing on the wrong aspect of riding. You're focusing on the bike instead of yourself. So you have to get over that. Oh, it's a so-and-so $1,000 bike. Yeah, it is. And the reason why it's that expensive or cheap is because of the research that they put into it, making it good enough to handle you dropping it. So what I'm trying to get at is, yes, you've probably been riding for years, just like we've been walking for years. You're going the wrong damn way. If I wouldn't have stopped, we'd be crossing each other's paths.
Yeah, no, that's why I was listening, so I was trying to find you.
Oh yeah, no, I pulled over right here so I can talk. But anyways, what I was saying, just because you've been riding for years, your body position and your thought needs to can change. It really does. Otherwise, you're gonna fuck up, and you're never gonna learn if you can't say, I suck. So yeah, that's it. Whoa! need some water. Water, water. Drink your water. Fizzle me, fizzle me, fizzle me now. Okay, so that's going to be kind of a new format that I want to start running. I want to start talking about the stuff that I've learned, of observations that I've seen, and just kind of addressing some of the typical questions that you get in the adventure bike world, and the stuff that has helped me become a much better rider in a relatively short amount of time. And this format is acceptable, then just let me know. Otherwise, I appreciate you watching. We'll see you on the next one. Bye. Have you seen this video yet? It's pretty cool.